Question of the day, what is your favorite tile-laying city building game? Now, why do I have the winged eagle on my shoulder? Well, somebody gave me that this week, and I just had to show it off because I couldn't figure out how to get it onto the shelf yet, so I thought I'd wear it on my arm here for the intro to this video. Because today we're taking a look at maybe the champion of all tile-laying vampire city building games. Now, I know the genre's not huge, but we're taking a look at SiliconVania right now from Wizkids. Let me know in the comments what you think below. Hey, before you go any further, make sure to check out the Dice Tower merch store. We have the space shirt, and we are slinging. That has been our best seller of all time. Now, we're planning on using some of the art, more of the art from this year, in more merch and more ideas. So let me know what you have for comments, but go to the Dice Tower store right now and buy some great new 2024 Dice Tower store, Dice Tower space shirt right now.
Welcome to SiliconVania, Metroidvania, whatever. Anyway, point is, this is a city building game with a Silicon Transylvania theme. Yes, make that make sense. Don't care if you can. So you're going to have two hands of cards here. One is going to be these bidding cards, which are numbered 1 through 7, and they have benefits at the bottom. So the lower cards have pluses, the higher cards have negatives. Lose 2 vampires, gain a vampire. Then you're going to have a hand of cards here also that are going to have a number in the top left corner. Now, in this game, the higher number wins a bid, which means a 1, which is why you get the better benefit for playing a 1, doesn't beat anything. So, if, for instance, you were to play these cards, you'd play them for their benefit, or the number in the top left, and then you're going to get the benefit on them in the bottom. But they're also multi-use. At rounds 4, 5, and 6, or 4, 5, 6, whatever. Anyway, at the 4th round, you can start putting these cards as city objectives. Now, one of the main errors you may make that we may or may not have made in our first play is this here. Now, this looks like tile scoring. It is not. These tiles that you're going to be putting out are worth nothing at all, even though they have certain little kind of things they do. The only way the tiles score is if you play these cards as city objectives, which means you have to kind of think of 3 things. You have to think of the cards you want to get, the tiles you want to get, and then the cards you're going to play over here as city objectives. Not to mention, you get points for having vampires and blood and other things, whatever they're called. Like I think they're contracts. Now, when you play your bid cards out, these, you're going to be using those to take the tiles. And you'll put the tiles over here. Notice this tile has 3 spaces for vampires. That's what these cute little meeples are, even though they look like pink ghosts. These meeples will go on to such coffins. Now, some of them will give you benefits to their left, which is what this track is for. So this will give you on the survival track. You'll move that way on the survival track, which is the red at the bottom, and this way on the innovation track. And once they cross, you get a little benefit, which is kind of cool. Now, there are certain benefits on the card that let you trade these tiles out for ones you have, and that will matter based on the cards you've played. So you may not want to do that early on. The other cards, these cards, the bid on that will give you choices of new cards. So you're essentially trying to get cards that you're either going to play for a high number, their benefit, or that you're going to keep for later to put them here. You'll put the tiles out and they score in several different ways. Now, one other thing is the blood bank is these cards, these tiles here. Your highest group of blood banks will give you the one cluster that's biggest will give you the amount of blood symbol points that you have. So the amount of points for your largest blood cluster. Points per vampire, and then points for different types of animals. Now, there's none out here currently, but a green one will have a different animal on the top. Now, there are things like castles and subways or trains that you can put around the edge of your board. The castles will turn into a type of tile of the one that you're choosing of the color. Subways are just going to give you 2 blood spots and 2 coffins, which essentially adds to your blood bank if you can put it above here, and adds 2 spaces to put vampires. That is essentially the game. Once the game ends, you'll know, because the tiles and cards will run out. Person with the most points wins the game.
All right, so that is SiliconVania. Now, a couple things to note here. One thing I really want to point out is that there is some trickiness to this game when it comes to scoring. The first time we played this, we thought that all the tiles scored like the things on the side, but no, actually, only the cards that you lay there score for the things on the side. So remember that. Now, as you know, we've got a rubric system here for our reviews this year. And so basically, we're going to break it down at art direction, and all that sort of stuff. So, all right. So first and foremost is the concept. Now, that would be, what is this game about? Now, I give it a 7. It may even ding a little lower, but a 7's fine. I mean, you're vampires in Transylvania building a Silicon Valley. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess it could happen, but I guess it couldn't happen, but also just not. It was like somebody took a dartboard and was like, tile laying, vampires. That's it. But that is the lowest score I'm going to give this game, actually. So just know that. Board layout's an 8. I like how everything's right there. I actually like the paths that cross each other. And when you cross, you get a bonus, right? Plus, everything is right there for you to get. Like, you have spaces laid out to put your tiles. You have spaces for everything. It just works really well and neatly. Next is the mechanics of the game. So here's an 8.5 from me. So I really, really like bidding games in the first place, but especially games where you have 2 different bidding things, and they tie into each other in the sense that if you tie on the first one, which is a smaller variable of numbers, the second card wins the tie. I think that's a really cool mechanic that comes into play. It actually comes into play quite often. So that is a cool mechanic to me. So, but bidding in general, but also I like picking the tiles and then placing them, and especially knowing that, okay, I need to get cards that are going to work with the tiles I'm getting. Now, that does contribute to some of the randomness of the game a little bit of, well, there's just no cards coming out for the tiles that are coming out. But you can make do because of the points for the animals and all that sort of stuff for scoring. Art direction's a 9. Everything has a symbol. Every symbol is absolutely explained on the back of the rule book and then in one other place. So art direction is very, very simple. Plus the cards that have things to do on them tell you what to do. So I love a game of good symbology and easy symbology. So art is a 7.5. Not my favorite art style. It's cute. It's just not something I love. You know what I'm saying? It's not bad, but it's just not my favorite. So 7.5 for the art. The gameplay is an 8. Like I said, I really like the experience of bidding and outbidding people, and that being the main mechanic, but also having to think, well, wait, why do I want to outbid that person? Or do I even care this round and I'll just go last and pick what's left, so I save my cards for a round that I may want more. So I love a good bidding mechanic there. Rulebook's a 7 as well, only because a few times the most confusing thing is that scoring mechanic about the city objective cards, and it doesn't always come through clear that is how you score as opposed to the tiles themselves. So all in all, the game is a solid 8 for me. That is SiliconVania from Wizkids. I'm Brian Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, etc. at Dice Tower Brian. Until next time, we'll see you.